And joining us now for a first CNBC interview is incoming CEO, I like this guy, Srini Gopalan. And Srini, we saw you before with Mike Sievert. I know this. You could argue that this is a joint effort quarter, but can you explain to people why the metric that people should be looking at is different from the one that they're using?
Look, Jim, this quarter has just been incredible, right? The Un-carrier, T-Mobile, has been the growth driver. And this quarter, we had more new customers than ever in our history. And this is from the growth driver, right? And that's because our differentiation is just widening in this industry. And that converted into outstanding financials. So our fundamentals are really strong, and we're doing the one thing no one else has done in this industry. Differentiate, which is give customers compelling reasons to come to us, and that difference is growing. That's why you're seeing these results.
Well, also, I happen to be a big fan of Costco. Very good piece in New York about Costco. And there it is, your phones with AT&T. I mean, I'm sorry, with Apple. And what I'm shocked about is the same price as I paid a few years ago, despite the tariffs. How do you do these deals?
So, well, look, we come from a conviction of if you do the right things for customers, they will reward you. They'll reward you with their loyalty. They'll reward you with more business, right? And that is what drives the ethos of the Un-carrier. Right? So we just believe that we do the right things for customers, we get the right financial results. This quarter, another huge proof point that is completely true.
So you obviously have good visibility into where the iPhone currently is. What was weakness for a good while has obviously picked up. The question is it durable or not? And how much of what you saw because of the record ads subs you had is directly related to this pickup in iPhone sales?
Yeah, so I can only talk to you about what's happening at T-Mobile, right? We've had a record quarter with the iPhone, and that momentum is still continuing. Now, part of the driver to that, and you'll love the stat, the iPhone on T-Mobile is 90% faster than one of our competitors and 40% faster than the other competitor. The speeds we're getting with the iPhone on T-Mobile are just better than anyone else. That's why you're seeing people flocking to T-Mobile with the new iPhone. So the iPhone's been a big driver to our last quarter.
The additions of 2.3 million postpaid subs, 1.5 was the estimate?
Yeah, that's right.
I know. That's why I'm mystified.
I mean, we've raised our guidance on postpaid subs by 1 million. And just on phone by 275K. That's with 1 quarter to come.
Wow.
I also think that you've got to flesh out to me a relationship you have, the SpaceX relationship, which could give you years to come, many new customers.
I mean, I love what we've done with SpaceX, right? We started out with this vision of putting an end to dead zones. And doing something that's hard, right? Because you've got mobile towers that are flying. You've got a mobile phone that's moving. Think about the physics of connecting those two. We've pretty much, with SpaceX, invented the category. Now, we love the fact that they're doubling down on the category. And my prediction is simple. In satellite, just as in 5G and just as everything to do with network, we will be 2 to 3 years ahead of the rest of our competitors. That's what our DNA is all about.
You just announced the satellite service not 2 weeks ago or two or 3 weeks ago. How's that going to look when it rolls out?
Look, what we announced 2 or 3 weeks ago was actually adding data to our satellite service. So you can use apps like AccuWeather, like WhatsApp. They've gone into what they call the light data mode, which means even if you're in a national park, you can actually access some of your data services when you're operating on satellite. That's a big innovation.
I was reading, some of the stories this morning, and one of them I thought was interesting, and I wonder if you could speak to it. It talks about an immigration component to the future of being able to add subs, new subs. The fact that we're cutting back on immigration, obviously, in this country, and whether there's a ripple effect in companies like yours because of that. How would you respond to that?
We haven't really seen it. Look, to the extent that it affects the industry, it tends to affect the prepaid business. And a very specific part of the prepaid business, which is a transactional prepaid business. Our exposure to that is very small. And you can see, again, this quarter in our results, we've really not seen an impact of that. It may be happening to others, not to us.